the Vice President and number 3 ranked student in the class of 2011, Catherine McKillop.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our national anthem, performed by Samantha Cabral, Lindsay Croft, and Candace Nowicki. And now I'd like to introduce the salutarian of the class of 2011, Carissa Broadbent.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Thank you, ladies. Nice job. The salutatorian of the class of 2011, Carissa Broadbent.
So how many of you in the audience feel really old right now? I feel old. Hi, everyone. To my fellow 2011 classmates, congratulations, we made it. It's true that in many ways this is the easy part of life, but that doesn't make it any less mind-blowing. This is a time of celebration. We are, after all, waving goodbye to a pivotal part of our lives. I think it's safe to say that we make the greatest leaps in maturity, not physically, but mentally and emotionally, during the 4 years of high school. We were definitely kids in our freshman year, but now I look at a lot of my classmates, and I think that they're showing who they're really going to become as adults. We haven't been thrown through the meat grinder of life yet, luckily. So right now we're in that sweet spot where we're old enough to feel like we're smart, but we're too young to be really anything but naive about life. So let's enjoy it while we have it, because that doesn't last long. But on a more solemn note, this is also a time of loss. And in the midst of this celebration, it's particularly important to acknowledge that loss. We are losing time. When we look in the mirror, we never see the same face twice. The second that just passed right now is one that we're never going to see again. And us half an hour ago is not the same us that's standing here on this stage, or sitting, rather. People have mourned the loss of time for centuries. Loss of time is also loss of youth, loss of beauty, loss of power or money. But most heartbreaking, however, is when loss of time means loss of time forever, and that's the loss of life. This is something that I struggle with personally right now. since my grandmother and my aunt were killed 3 years ago today in a car crash. This is something that we struggle with as a class, as we lost our classmate Chelsea Pont way too soon, on April 20th, 2008. This is something that we've struggled with as a school this year, in memory of the science teacher Jane Dabowski, who was by far one of the best educators I've ever met. In the face of all these losses, especially at times like this, these critical turning points in our lives, it's hard not to appreciate what we have. We are standing at the end of something and at the beginning of something else, but what those things are and where we decide to go from here are entirely personal decisions. I'm sure that many of us, myself included, are hoping to go out into the world and become a quote-unquote success. School teaches us that success can be measured in numbers. Getting a 102 on your math exam is success. Earning a 4.0 GPA is success. Becoming one of the 6.2% of accepted applicants at Harvard University is success. At least that's what we're told. No one gives awards to the stay-at-home mom who is happily married and raised 3 kids. No one gives awards to the mechanic who built a lucrative business up from the ground. No one gives awards to the happy accountant who maintains an average interest in painting in his spare time, even though they certainly should. Success is a concept that, like beauty, is only existent in the eye of the beholder. But also, like beauty, it is something that people attempt to define when there is no real definition. Dozens of graduation speakers have stood where I stand right now, and they have told this class of people to go out and be successful. Today, I will say the same thing to all of you, but with a note of caution attached. Never let anyone tell you what your success should be. Never feel like you need to justify yourself and your decisions. Never feel like you are less than or better than somebody because of the school you did or did not go to, because of the recognition that you have or have not received, because of the money that you do or do not have. This is the most